Ladies and gentlemen, Behind the Line proudly presents to you another exciting edition of the Woke Turning On the Woke. This episode is brought to you by Woke Memorial Hospital. Are you a rapidly aging fossil? Have you served your purpose and deacons at Woke United Methodist are desperately trying to push you aside? If your mind is getting brittle, retire comfortably at Woke Memorial Hospital. Led by pretend Dr. Jill Biden, Woke Memorial offers a full line of fossil care. Unlimited diapers, daily boodle cleaning, and top-of-the-line dentures that will have your smile beaming. We have plenty of rooms available. Retire in peace at Woke Memorial Hospital. Believe it or not, I almost feel bad for our former fearless leader, Johnny B. Biden. As a society, I feel like we have a tendency to overlook the life experience of our elders. Mentally, I know John Biden is working at half capacity, or maybe even significantly less. But think about everything he has been through. Think about the invaluable experience that he has from centuries of working in Washington. Johnny B has risen to the rank of Supreme Slayer in Dungeons and Dragons. He was the captain of the SS Enterprise along with Captain Kirk Shatner as they covertly steered the ship away from the Star Trek virgin Mike Freeman, so he didn't have the chance to seduce Biggs Darklighter. John Biden lived through the Great Depression, or as pretend Dr. Jill called it, her wedding day. Multiple wars in the Middle East, countless economic recessions. John Biden has been working in Washington for so long. He has been through 9 presidential administrations. 9! You can make the case that John Biden is the most experienced politician in the history of the country. He has been in D.C. longer than Billy Clinton, Barry Obama, and the Trumper combined. With that kind of experience, you would think Democratic leaders and their pretend friends in the mainstream media would embrace his input. Unfortunately for John Biden, it is the complete opposite. Not only are they refusing to embrace his input, not only are they not taking advantage of his centuries of experience, Democratic leaders, they are openly and publicly demanding that John Biden go away. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Link to the second channel is in the description below. Today on the second channel, going to be talking about the NBA being the equivalent of the WWE. Now, obviously, their fan bases are not the same. NBA fans are passionate, but for the most part, NBA fans are normal people. NBA fans spend $700 on playoff tickets. WWE fans, they spend $700 on replica championship belts, and they pretend that they are the world champion of simulated combat. Hey, Fred, look at me. I'm the champion of the world. Woo! Last night, the NBA rigged the draft lottery. Even though it worked in my favor and the Mavs got the number 1 pick, there is no way you can convince me that it wasn't rigged. However, I don't think this was the first time that the NBA rigged the draft lottery. It might be the first time that they have potentially orchestrated a trade and rigged the lottery at the same time, but I don't think it's the first time that the lottery itself was rigged. We'll talk about it later today, so click the link in the description below, subscribe to the second channel. Headline at Politico: It's time for Joe Biden to go away. Democrats are triggered by Biden's return to the spotlight. Why are these people always triggered? Why are Democrats so emotional? Democrats are upset by everything. The federal government returns abortion rights to the states where they rightfully belong. This is outrageous! Call the whoopee cushion, we need her boodle breeze to spread the flaming ass fire. Normal people announce that we don't want men in the women's restroom. Our rights are being taken away. I'm so scared. Ah! Emails across the country use the @ sign and are returned to sender if an identifier tries the ++. Whatever happened to inclusivity? The @ sign, the ++, the LGBT. John Biden returns to the mainstream spotlight after 4 months of hiding in his Delaware dungeon. It's not hard to figure out why Johnny B is returning to the spotlight, but for some reason, deacons at Woke United Methodist are suddenly upset by his presence. The media is suddenly concerned with the increased public appearances of John Biden. Now keep in mind, this is the same media that spent the last 4 years begging us to embrace him. This is the same media that claimed John Biden is the best president in the history of our democracy that's supposed to be a republic. This is the same media that John Biden spent the last 4 years hiding from. This is the same media that tried to convince us that John Biden was the sharpest knife in the empty drawer. But now that he is no longer president and his agency is booking media appearances across the mainstream, all of a sudden, Democratic leaders want John Biden to go away. Politico spoke with several Democratic activists who were previously sympathetic to John Biden. They were all united on one point: UNITY, which isn't all that surprising. The Democrats aren't good at most things, but if there is one thing they do best, it's unify. Democrats are very organized. Now, of course, they're always unified on the wrong things, but at least they are unified. In this case, they are all in agreement that it's time for John Biden to get the hell out of here. Democratic strategist Chuck Rocha, he told Politico, it is time for Joe Biden to go away. Every time he appears on a show or says something, we have to defend him. We're also reminded that we were beaten by the Trumper again. The memories are just too painful. Translation: Charlie is tired of defending Johnny's incompetence. Now, when he was president, they were heavily blitzing anyone who questioned John Biden. Now that he is no longer useful, Democrats want to utilize a prevent defense. They want to prevent John Biden from saying anything at all. Amanda Litman is part of a group called Run for Something. Initially, I thought Run for Something was a transgender rights group. I thought they were encouraging Chad Thundercock to run for the gold medal in women's track and field, or they were encouraging Bob Greiner to become the most dominant player in the WNBA. But according to their website, Run for Something encourages future deacons to run for political office. They specifically focus on young parishioners and Sunday school classes at Woke United Methodist. Guess where they receive some of their funding? Just take a wild guess. Our good friend Georgie, but it's not W. It's our other good friend, Georgie Soros. Since Run for Something focuses on young people, I guess that automatically disqualifies John Biden from their support, which makes sense. John Biden hasn't been young since Lazarus was raised from the dead. Amanda Litman told Politico, John Biden is dragging us backwards. He's a reminder of the old people who got us into this mess to begin with. We need to be focused on the next generation who could lead us to a utopia of misery. Although Politico outlined the concerns of the reemergence of John Biden, they failed to answer one simple question. Why? Why has John Biden suddenly returned to the spotlight? Normally, when presidents finish their term, they have a tendency to fade into the background. Bill Clinton walked out of the White House in 2001. Next time we saw him, he was almost unrecognizable. He looked like an aging rock star. His face resembled a wrinkled road map. Barry Obama left in 2017. We rarely see him. Now, his wife and feminine brother-in-law, they're trying to remain in the spotlight, but Barry seems content working behind the scenes or playing golf in Martha's Vineyard. It hasn't even been 4 months, and John Biden is desperately seeking attention. He's being interviewed by the BBC. He is risking his health by visiting the Yentas on The View. Now, of course, pretend Dr. Jill is right there by his side. As you guys know, the pretend doctor loves the attention. It's the main reason that she pushed her husband to remain in the election last summer, even when everyone else knew he didn't have a chance to win. But outside of Jill craving the spotlight, why would John Biden be reappearing in the media? Maybe, just maybe, it's to fight the coming narrative, or in this case, the coming facts. Here in a couple of weeks, a book will be released called Original Sin. The book will expose the cover-up of John Biden's mental decline. Now, this book is not being released by Sean Hannity. It wasn't written by Bill O'Reilly. It won't be published by some conservative author that the media would automatically discredit. This book was written by Jake the Bongo Tapper, the same Jake the Bongo Tapper that spent the last 4 years on CNN covering for Johnny B. Biden. So maybe Johnny B is appearing in the media to get ahead of it. There was another book released a couple of months ago that revealed behind-the-scenes details of the election. I read it. It was a good book, but it didn't receive a lot of mainstream exposure. This book by Jake Tapper, it is going to be massive. I would imagine that it's going to be humiliating for John Biden and his family, which might be why he is so eager to appear in the media after he spent the last 4 years hiding from the media. Give me your thoughts on this. Democrats are begging Joe Biden to go away. All of a sudden, they're worried about the optics. They weren't worried about the optics in 2020. They weren't worried about his decline during his presidency. But now that he is no longer useful, Democrats want him to go away. Why is Joe Biden suddenly appearing in the media after he spent his entire presidency hiding from the media? You tell me. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys later.